Hi everyone. Today I'd like to discuss the importance of walking and its benefits that are not really commonly talked about. And if you're recently feeling down, unmotivated, or even depressed, you might want to pay attention to what I'm saying next. After moving to Canada, I got into a habit of driving, everywhere. To be fair, it is hard to live in North America without driving, especially if you don't live downtown. Having lived in Seoul, South Korea almost my entire life, I never had to drive there as public transportation system was almost perfect. After moving to North America, that wasn't really the case. So I got myself a used car after just 1 year. After driving for a year, however, I found myself constantly getting demotivated, lethargic, and eventually a bit depressed. And I did not know why. However, after starting a new position at a new company in the center of downtown, I started using public transportation. The location of my office forced me to, and also because parking cost was mercilessly high, not to mention the crazy downtown traffic I had to deal with. Then I made an interesting discovery. I was getting more and more motivated, more active, and eventually kind of happier. And so I tried to think about the reason before I realized it was thanks to walking, of course. I was wondering, was it my new work? Maybe not the primary reason, because I actually got much busier and getting used to the new workplace wasn't really all that happy, as you all know. Then was it something else? Well, the same year I somehow lost almost all my close friends, and so I really didn't know why for a while. I mean, that year, the past year, was really one of the most challenging years in my life. But then I realized the only difference was the way I commuted. I was walking much more often and much more distances. Then I thought about it more and more, and today I'd like to share the benefits of walking that actually helped me and that actually happened to me. I'll just save your time by skipping all the traditional physical health benefits of walking. It improves your blood circulation, make you lose fat, etc., etc. Today, I'll dive into the new benefits that we could take advantage of in this new era, especially in this dopamine era. First off, I believe walking instead of driving is good for dopamine detoxing. As you're all familiar already, we're living in the dopamine era. Dopamine, as you also know, is fueled by fast stimuli, especially visual ones. Walking, on the other hand, is slower. You get slower visual stimuli, you have to accept your slower pace and longer time. We are too used to getting quickly changing visual stimuli all the time, be it your mindless scrolling of shorts and reels, or the kinds of changes of scenery when you drive. On the other hand, by walking, you make everything slower. Slower stimuli means less secretion of dopamine, and I believe this doesn't need further explanation. Second, walking helps beat lethargy or even depression in the same sense. This might come across as counterintuitive compared to the first point, but bear with me for a minute here. In addition to the physical stimulation, which then elevates heart rate and then helps relieve depression, walking also provides new excitements at a moderate pace. New information, visual, tactile, olfactory, etc. More changes of scenery, seeing and hearing new people, discovering new places. It constantly provides you with new information, new stimuli, which stimulates your brain and mood. Compared to when you're cooped up at home or driving in your car, these new pieces of information or stimuli while walking are much more abundant and, more importantly, intense. So when you walk, you move right beside people, right beside buildings, sometimes through some building. You get and feel headwinds. You hear cars from just a couple of feet away and walk through noises and smell even. It's just the right amount of stimulation for your brain and for your sensory organs. You can't be depressed or bored while actively walking. Last not but least, Walking offers you a good time to focus on your thoughts. One thing that I discovered was that oftentimes while walking or sitting in a public transit, new ideas pop into my mind. Whilst driving, I have to focus on the driving itself, leaving no time to focus on my thought process. Even when thinking while driving, I get easily distracted by other perils of the road, not to mention doing so is not at all safe for you. Walking also helps organize and clear your thoughts, especially those that are negative. By stimulating your brain and elevating your heart rate, it also helps improve your feelings. You move, you feel better. Well, this is no-brainer. So I wanted to share newly found benefits of walking today. If you live in North America or somewhere else, you need a car, and if you think you're dopamine addicted or even depressed, try walking. And as I mentioned in my previous video, why don't you do it right now? It can be just around your block. It doesn't have to be a long walk. Remember, you must start small and now. Otherwise, you will end up not doing it. In a nutshell, you walk more, feel better.